Okay, so I just want to give a quick update from the last few weeks for those who know me personally and those who might have been following over the last weeks. Took a trip to Maryland and Pennsylvania. Maryland to see my middle and youngest son, marry the love of his life. And it's a beautiful wedding, and just seeing that family be united in marriage was precious and beautiful. And then I went into Pennsylvania, where I was reunited with my baby sister, whom I was separated from for almost exactly 45 years ago. She was taken 2 weeks before our mom died, and she was 2.5, and I was a month from turning 6. And I have pined for her my entire life since she was taken. And when I turned 18, I started searching for her. And it wasn't until just about 5 or 6 years ago that I finally gave up and just released her to the Lord and I told the Lord, I said, okay, I'm done. I'm not going to look for her anymore. But I said, Lord, if you could just, if she doesn't know you, just let her come to know you so that we can be reunited in heaven. Well, plot twist. One of my closest friends gave me an ancestry DNA test about 1.5 years ago. Would you know it took 3 times for the results, for them to be able to read the samples. I'm not real good with science, so I don't know what all that stuff's called. But it took 3 times, and the 3rd time, over a period of like 6 months, it came back, or maybe longer than 6 months. It came back, and I was an immediate match with 2 young people who ended up being my baby sister's children. They were on Ancestry for another reason. They were looking for somebody else, and they found me. And so here I am, was able to reunite with my sister after 45 years and to meet her beautiful family, 6 kids, grandkids, and her precious mom and dad who raised her, who adopted her. I have fallen in love with them, a pastor and his wife, and in ministry for over 50 years. And my sister Beth was so blessed to have them as parents. And then her 6 kids, beautiful and just precious. And I've fallen in love with all of them. And I just want to share probably I could write a book from these last few weeks. Or at least half a book. I think the most redeeming moment happened when Beth's dad, Keith, took us into Montgomery County, Pennsylvania, to visit our mom's grave. And my mom only has a little marker. It's a 4x4 cement marker. Her name's not on it. It's just saying, okay, somebody's here. Somebody's buried here. But she is next to her mom, who has a tombstone, my grandmother, and then her oldest sister, who has a tombstone. And then there's an empty plot for, I guess, the other siblings, and then my mom, who is the baby of the family. And I've learned a lot about my mom. You know, as a 5-year-old, I thought she hung the moon and stars. What 5-year-old doesn't, right? But she was a very broken woman, and anyway, I learned a lot about her that has been kind of heart-wrenching for me. But God is so good, and He's helping me through that and to heal through that. But anyway, we're standing there at the marker, and my sister, Beth, who does not remember our mom, she was too little, she just became really emotional and just started tearing the weeds away from the marker, and was more moved and upset by the fact that she didn't have a tombstone and that there was just this mere marker. And so I won't go into the rest of those moments, but I will say that if you had told me even 6 months ago that I would be standing there at our mom's grave with my baby sister, whom I've pined for my whole life, and her daddy, who's a pastor, I would have said, you're nuts. So here's the redeeming moment. Before we left, Beth's dad put his arms around Beth and me, and he began to pray. And I remember my mom's funeral very, very vividly, and I don't remember a pastor or anybody praying over my mom. And they might have, but I don't recall that part of the funeral. It was a very short funeral. Nobody went to the cemetery. She was just taken and buried there. And so there was no graveside. So to stand there and have Beth's dad, who's a pastor, just honor our mom in a slight way, an amazingly slight way, and just speak life over us, and for him to stand there and pray and thank God for our mom giving us life and giving Beth life and allowing them to be able to raise Beth, and that God knit us together in our mother's womb. God used her as the vehicle to bring us into this world. And if it was only for that reason, that's enough to give her the honor that she's due, no matter how broken she was while she was alive. You know, God knit us together in our mother's womb, and our days were numbered before there were any of them. We were fearfully and wonderfully made. And he prayed that over us. And it was a redeeming and precious moment that I'm just really grateful for. And God is so good. So yeah, there's a lot more, but that's all I wanted to share. Just give you all a neat little update. So he's a redeeming God, even if it is 45 years later. Yeah, anyway, I'll share more later as time goes on, as I process. Still processing a lot, but it's all good. God is so good. So there you have it. Till next time.